What's good, you guys? Your boy Ben Mahari here, represent Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. I just wanted to personally say that it's been a pleasure doing a lot of the videos with you guys, and I know I've been very busy with the move and everything else. Our family moved to a new house now, so we're just settling in, trying to get everything organized and stuff. So it's been a kind of a slow building process, but you know how that is. But I wanted to talk about, the destruction of the Brooklyn Nets and how everything has pretty much, destructed right before our very eyes. And it's kind of intriguing to see how many, of the podcasts I've heard around YouTube and outside of YouTube as well, and even mainstream media has been, taking sides in this whole situation. Now, this is my 2 cents, and whatever I say is just my opinion. And if you don't like what I have to say, hey, I can't make everybody happy. But here's my 2 cents of the whole situation. My 2 cents of the whole situation is that this is pretty much a case where an organization just got greedy and got thirsty a little too early than what they should have. And what I'm saying that is that I believe that Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, with the talent they had, of course, they should have pretty much been more patient with the whole process of building this championship team. But I tend to believe that the organization had a lot to do with the problems though too, because the team that they originally had before those two superstars came, with Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, and also with D'Angelo Russell, they were actually building something that was leading to some, laid out foundation for potential success. And when they brought in Kevin Durant, they should have been much more patient in terms of how they were going to, build out this whole thing instead of caving in and trying to win now. And when that happened, I felt that the Nets were, denigrating themselves, you know, a lot. And when you brought in Kyrie Irving, the baggage that goes along with Kyrie Irving. I mean, it's pretty much documented at this point of how toxic of a personality Kyrie Irving is. One day he's all in, the other day he's just doesn't care about basketball, or he has some sort of thing that he's got in his mind, or he just want to play or anything like that. So the baggage that comes along with it. But now it's taken to another extreme. And there's a lot of blame to be handed around. Obviously, Kyrie Irving gets a lot of the blame too, because, his personality and the way he approaches things rubs people off very badly. And we're not going to get into the vaccine thing because at the end of the day, it's his choice. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have their own, interpretation and their own opinions about it. But when you have the whole team even taking the vaccine, including KD himself, I mean, that's just it's gonna have people have different opinions about that, and I just believe that him not doing it really was the beginning of the end for that team. And to top it all that too, you bring in James Harden as well with his baggage as well, and pretty much James Harden saw how much of a toxic situation it was becoming, and he comes to the season out of shape, and it became much more of a toxic situation too. So you add all those things into consideration, and now you look at a situation where now the Brooklyn Nets are now pretty much putting those two superstars on the trading block, and it's kind of disturbing to see. And the word I'm not even gotten to the stuff about Kevin Durant that I'm going to save in a little bit, but the thing that I really been more disappointed than anything else is how both of those two superstars have tried to take the easy way out in winning championships. When I think about Kobe Bryant, about what he said, before he died, of course, he talked about how he wouldn't, take the easy route and, trying to link up with, superstars to come over to his team. Is either accept the responsibility of the good and the bad when you become a superstar, even when you win championships. And I just felt that, both those two superstars are thin skinned of handling that kind of responsibility and really don't want to take that kind of accountability. And it's disappointing to see that out of, two outstanding superstars, especially for KD, of course, because at this stage right now, and I don't care what anyone else says, Kevin Durant has been a huge disappointment in the postseason, even bypassing his era in Golden State. Because if we're being real with ourselves, that machine was going to win championships even without Kevin Durant, and they proved it this year when they won the whole thing over the Boston Celtics. So they pretty much validated the status that this was a run-oiled machine even before KD came around. You know what I mean? So KD is thin-skinned. He wants to take the easy route. Kyrie is in his own world. He wants to do whatever he wants to do. And both of them felt that they had some influence in the organization in terms of what moves they want to make, when in actuality, that's not always going to be the case. So you add all those things into consideration, and you got this situation now where you got a coaching staff in Steve Nash. It's not really a coach, to be honest with you. He's more of a player personnel personality on the team. You also got Sean Marks, who's pretty much throwing barbs all the way out to the media and is rubbing Kyrie Irving the wrong way about him too, and it's just become a very toxic situation. And unfortunately for the Brooklyn Nets, it's pretty much validates what they've been as a franchise, even going back to the days when they were in New Jersey. That every time when they've tried to build something to win a championship, it's always something that gets in the way of that. And it's pretty much their self-destruction as well, even back to the Jason Kidd era. And going back to the 90s when they had Kenny Anderson and Derek Coleman and the late, great Johnson Petrovic. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty much a constant thing. And it validates the point that there are certain franchises that even if you bring new faces in, there's a reason why they never been able to attain the success of winning a championship. And this team and the way they were constructed, this will ever be go down as one of the most disappointing teams in NBA history. With the talent that these guys had, you would think that they should have won at least 1 or 2 championships and at the minimum. But because of all those circumstances that I talked about, and pretty much a lot of you guys know by reading a lot of your publications, it's pretty much a sinking ship. And now if you're the Brooklyn Nets, you got no other choice but to trade these two guys before the season starts. And I know there's going to be people that say, well, trade Kyrie to for Russell Westbrook. I'm telling you, that's not going to work either. You might as well just trade both of them and just pretty much start over, and it's disappointing for the fan base. And I feel them for that because they felt that these two guys were going to lead them to a future of success. But unfortunately, that wasn't meant to be. And that just happens sometimes. So that's just my 2 cents. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. And with that, I'm out. Peace.